Imagine stepping out of a time machine 40,000 years ago. You're standing at the edge of a wild clearing, watching a group of kids play. There's a fire crackling behind you, and in front of you, they're kicking a lumpy bundle of animal hide back and forth. They are shrieking with laughter every single time someone misses a kick. It looks totally chaotic, but incredibly fun. There are no official rules here. Just a primitive ball, a patch of dirt, and a human reaction that hasn't changed in 40 millennia. Think about it. There is no giant scoreboard keeping track of who is winning or using. There's no referee blowing a whistle to stop the action or give out yellow cards. And there is definitely no high-tech VR replay system to argue about. It's just the pure, raw joy of human beings losing their minds over a round object moving through the air. That exact sound, the collective gasp and cheer of a crowd, is one of the oldest sounds in human history. So how did this simple, ancient pastime evolve into the biggest spectacle on Earth today? Let's fast forward 40,000 years into the future to a typical Saturday afternoon. We are looking at the exact same species, the exact same brain, and the exact same nervous system. Except now, we're inside a massive concrete bowl stadium packed with 80,000 screaming people. On the pitch, a single player is being paid more money per week than most people will earn in a lifetime. And high up in the boxes, betting companies are calculating the live odds down to the exact millisecond. If you suddenly dropped that ancient human into a modern stadium, would they just be totally terrified and confused? Would they understand any of it? Well, the surprising answer is yes. They would probably get it instantly. They would look past the flashing lights and see a behavior that is deeply familiar to them. Because what they are looking at isn't a modern invention at all. It's one of our species' oldest survival mechanisms. Beneath the modern stadium, the ancient child and the modern fan are connected by the exact same evolutionary urge. You see, sports don't actually start with rulebooks, official leagues, branded jerseys, or organizations like FIFA. The core urge to chase an object, kick it, fight over it, and do it as a team is actually older than language itself. Before humans even had words to describe a game, we were already playing them. But why would evolution design us to waste precious energy on something that doesn't immediately help us survive? Well, it turns out we aren't the only ones. Chimpanzees love to spend their free time play wrestling. Wolf pups spend hours play biting and chasing each other around the den. Otters literally invent their own games, sliding smooth rocks back and forth just because it feels good. And crows play elaborate games of keep away, passing items back and forth mid-flight just to mess with each other. Play is a massive global phenomenon across the animal kingdom, which means it must serve a vital purpose. Evolution doesn't keep behaviors around by accident. Play is doing serious work inside the brain. Scientists who study animal behavior have realized that play is actually a clever cognitive simulator. It allows young, developing brains to practice essential survival skills safely. When a wolf pup play fights, it's secretly mastering the exact body mechanics it will need to hunt successfully as an adult. If the pup misses or makes a mistake now, there are no real-world consequences. Nobody goes hungry. It is low-stakes practice for the high-stakes reality of adulthood. And that is the ultimate secret engine behind every sport. It is training, cleverly disguised as fun. This evolutionary engine drives humans to invent increasingly complex ball games. So, when exactly did our human ancestors start taking this ball-kicking game seriously? The history of structured sports is much wilder and much older than you might expect. Let's dig into the archaeological record to find the very first official ball courts. Surprisingly, the oldest organized ball game with real archaeological evidence isn't European at all. We have to look back roughly 3,600 years ago to ancient Mexico. At a site called El Manati, archaeologists discovered actual solid rubber balls from the ancient Olmec civilization. These weren't just toys left behind by kids. They were sacred ritual offerings found alongside massive courts. In this Mesoamerican ballgame, players couldn't use their hands or feet. They had to use their hips and thighs to strike the heavy ball. Imagine trying to score a goal without ever using your hands or your feet. They had to aim for narrow stone hoops mounted incredibly high up on massive stone walls. This was major civic infrastructure. Entire Maya and Aztec cities were built around these courts. But this wasn't just a casual weekend league. The stakes were terrifyingly high. In some serious cases, losing the match meant literal death. The captain of the losing team could be ritually sacrificed. Meanwhile, on the exact opposite side of the planet, something eerily similar was happening completely on its own. 2,000 years ago in China, soldiers practiced kuju, kicking a feather-stuffed leather ball through a tiny net without hands. In ancient Japan, aristocrats played kemari, a cooperative game focused entirely on keeping the ball airborne. The Greeks had episkaros, the Romans had harpastum, and they all involved intense ball games. Across the Atlantic, indigenous Americans played pasukawakaholog, staging massive matches on beaches that stretched for miles. Remember, none of these global cultures were talking to each other. There was absolutely no internet connecting them. Yet, independently, humans all over the globe kept inventing the exact same activity. Take a round object, ban hands, and turn it into a team competition. Why does this keep happening? Anthropologists call this convergent cultural evolution. It's not a borrowed idea. It means ball games satisfy a deep, hardwired neurological need built directly into our human biology. So, what real-world work were these games doing? First, they provided elite physical training. Sprinting, dodging, and reading an opponent's body are the exact skills you need to bring down a mammoth or dodge a predator. A ball game functions as a high-intensity hunting simulator. If you miss the target in the simulator, you don't starve to death. You just reset and try again. The second major purpose, and perhaps the most important, is group cohesion. Modern data shows that synchronized physical exercise releases chemicals that instantly build trust and raise team pain tolerance. It forces individualistic humans to blend together into a single, highly coordinated team. Kicking a ball together built the profound psychological trust a village needed before going on a highly dangerous hunt. So you see, the ball itself was never actually the point of the game. The social bonding was the point. The ball was just a perfect excuse to get together. Third, these sports served as a brilliant tool for conflict resolution between rival tribes. Early societies desperately needed a way to compete without killing each other off. A ball game allowed them to fight over pride and territory through controlled athletic skill instead of war. It established a clear hierarchy and won immense social status without drawing a single drop of blood. Anthropologists argue that ritual sport acted as a vital societal pressure valve to prevent warfare. Dangerous societal aggression was safely burned off within a set of agreed-upon lines. Keep that pressure valve in mind the next time you watch a tense international tournament. When commentators start leaning into the microphone to talk about the intense history between two nations, they are channeling that exact same tribal energy that used to lead to open battlefields. But how did these localized rituals get synthesized into the specific game we watch today? Modern soccer as we know it was officially formalized in England in the year 1863. Elite British schools wanted to organize dozens of messy regional kicking games into one clean rulebook. Once the rules were set, the massive British Empire began exporting the game globally. The sport spread rapidly to Africa, South America, and South Asia. But make no mistake, soccer didn't spread around the globe purely as a pleasant cultural gift. It took deep root in places like Argentina and Nigeria by riding alongside colonial machinery. The exact same ships bringing soccer were often there to exploit local labor and trade. The game spread globally through the complex, dark, historical networks of colonialism. And from there, global industrialization completely transformed the sport into a commodity. What began as a communal village ritual was turned into a hyper-efficient global product. Today, soccer's governing bodies are regularly rocked by massive, multi-million-dollar corruption scandals. A single player's modern transfer fee can easily exceed the entire annual GDP of a small nation. Extreme stadium hooliganism and rioting have occasionally turned matches into genuinely deadly events. A corporate executive signing media broadcast deals in a modern boardroom feels worlds away from history. The corporate executive and the ancient player share almost nothing else in common besides the ball. Yet, if that ancient human sat in the stands, they would still recognize the absolute core of the game. They would immediately understand the vibrant team colors and the roar of a crowd synchronizing around an object. They would recognize that thousands of total strangers have become one single organism, realizing it was never about the ball. Deep down, beneath a billion-dollar broadcast deal, lives the spirit of that kid kicking a hide bundle in a clearing. Because chasing, kicking, and cheering together is just our ancient, beautiful way of feeling alive, together.